You've probably heard me talk about my very first poetry slam, the project that became my go-to vehicle for teaching poetry every year that followed. The book I was handed that year, Six American Poets, was chock full of great poetry: Dickinson, Whitman, Hughes. But I knew that I, like every paper worth reading, would need a solid hook. That's how I ended up staying up till 1 in the morning the night before my poetry unit was set to kick off, searching for poetry slam clips without swear words. Eventually, I found some incredible clips and the philosophy that would guide much of my time in the classroom. I thought of that philosophy then as using showcase projects. Now I think of it as finding the glue that keeps students engaged with my material. So how can you find your own glue, and what does that even mean? Let's talk. Welcome to the Spark Creativity Teacher Podcast, a podcast for English teachers looking for more. More creativity, more engagement, more joy, and no more scripted curriculum, lesson planning ruts, or boring book lists. I'm Betsy Potash, and I'm honored you're trusting me to help. You're not alone on this creative journey anymore. I could give you a million examples, but when it comes down to it, the glue is what will make your students care about what you're doing in class, what they're learning. For me, it usually has a real-world connection, like an authentic audience, or a chance for them to make a real impact on an issue they care about. Teaching argument? Maybe the glue could be a TEDx talk your students will soon be giving, arguing for something to the school community. If that's not a reason to care about making a good argument, what is? Teaching theater? Maybe the glue is a performance you'll be doing for local fifth graders. Suddenly, it's a lot more important to figure out what makes an onstage performance effective. Teaching transcendentalism? Maybe your glue is a transcendental mural your students will be painting on that boring white wall outside the library. They're going to have to understand transcendentalism pretty well if they're going to showcase it to your whole community. Teaching dystopia? Maybe the glue is a debate about whether or not dystopia is an effective way to influence social change, and you're going to invite student parents and community members to watch that debate. Teaching the personal essay? Maybe the glue is a live radio show your students will be hosting in the format of NPR's This I Believe essays. Now, I realize you don't have time to create and host a giant event every time your students dive into new ideas. Sometimes you just need to take 3 days to teach a key standard that builds towards something else more important. And that's okay. Especially when you can frame it as a build-up to what's coming, or somehow make it part of that larger context, that big arc that leads to that big moment. I believe my students ended up being way more interested in studying the 6 American poets in our anthology because they were in the middle of writing their own slam pieces. Suddenly, canonical poets' choices and themes took on a whole new level of importance as an inspiration for my students' own work. So, how will you pick out the glue as you approach your next unit? You'll know best, but if you're feeling stuck, think about how you can connect what you're teaching to your students' interests, to contemporary writers or platforms, or to an opportunity for your students to share their ideas with an authentic audience. There's a glittery rainbow of glue out there waiting. You just have to start looking for it. Thanks so much for joining me today to talk about the glue and why it's so very important. Until next time, take care of yourself and stay creative.